Hi everyone, it's me, Sigal. Let's read a story for Yom Kippur. It's all about saying sorry. It's called, Are We Still Friends? Beatrice and Abel lived side by side with a low stone wall between them. Abel grew apples, Beatrice raised bees. They were the finest of friends indeed, and so were the bees in the trees. In summer, when honey filled Beatrice's hives, she hollered, "Hello, Abel, you free?" And he crossed the low wall to help gather the sticky, sweet liquid. They had a special plan for that honey. In autumn, when apples filled Abel's trees, he called, "Hello, bee, please?" And she crossed the low wall to help harvest the ripe red fruit. Abel's apples, dipped in bees' honey, would make a sweet Rosh Hashanah treat. In winter, the bees in the trees rested, so Beatrice and Abel rested too. Side by side, they spread crispy toast with apple butter and sipped warm tea with honey. Beatrice and Abel needed each other all year, but especially in the springtime, when Abel's trees filled with flowers. Beatrice's bees needed flower nectar to make their honey. Abel's trees needed bees to spread their pollen and to make their fruit. Back and forth across the wall the bees flew until one spring morning, whack! Abel smacked into a branch. Ouch! The smack startled a bee. Zing! The bee stung Abel right on his nose. Yow! Abel yammered. Whee! Across the wall, Beatrice heard Abel squeal. What a silly laugh, she thought. Wee-hee-hee, she laughed back. Was Bee laughing at him? Abel wondered. He rubbed his sore nose. Blasted Bee, he bellowed. Was Abel talking to her? Beatrice wondered. Don't you bellow at me, she yelled. Pie face? Pie face? Abel sputtered. Well, you're a fuzz brain. Wormy core, fuzz brain. Back and forth the words flew until Beatrice and Abel marched into their houses and slammed their doors behind them. There sat Abel, his hurt ripening like a big round apple. Pie face? He sputtered. I don't need her or her bees. And there sat Beatrice, her anger buzzing like an irate insect. Fuzzbrain, she muttered. I don't need him or his trees. But outside, the bees continued their quiet business. Back and forth across the wall they flew, sipping nectar and spreading pollen just the same as always. Abel scribbled a sign and planted it where the bees would see it. But the bees didn't care about that sign. Beatrice built a fence to keep the bees on her side, but the bees didn't care about that fence. Up in his attic, Abel gathered a jumble of junk. He piled it on the wall. Down in her basement, Beatrice found a mishmash of trash. She stacked it on Abel's jumble. Sour apple, Beatrice snarled. Fuzzbrain, Abel answered. And you know what the bees did. But Beatrice and Abel didn't care. Higher and higher, they stacked and piled until, plink, something slipped. Clink, something dipped. And with a clatter and a crash, the whole teetering mass tumbled into the bee yard. What a mess! In all that tangle, there wasn't a sign of Beatrice. Hello, Abel called. No answer. Hello? Abel shouted. Where was she? Then he heard something. It could have been the bees or the wind in the trees, but it seemed to be coming from the pile. And it seemed to be saying, hello? Hello, Abel called. Hello? At last, Abel found her. Hello, bee, he whooped. I thought I'd lost you. Hello yourself, she croaked. I thought you didn't care. Abel offered a hand and helped her climb out. I thought you were laughing at me, he said. I'm sorry. I thought you were insulting me, she said. I'm sorry too. Are we still friends? Indeed. They looked at the yard. What a royal mess. I'll put everything in apple pie order, Abel promised. I'll help, Beatrice said. So side by side, they cleaned everything up. Back in Abel's kitchen, they spread crispy toast with apple butter and sipped warm tea with honey. We're numbskulls, said Beatrice. Mush minds, Abel agreed. They were the finest of friends indeed, and so were the bees and the trees. Just the same as always. The end. That's a nice story that reminds us that sometimes we don't act the best way we should. And when we do that, it's time to say, I'm sorry. Can everyone practice saying, I'm sorry? One more time. Can you say, I'm sorry? Great job. Well, have a Shana Tova, a Happy New Year. Bye.